Karma's such a head turner. Karma makes you go, what? Karma makes you listen. Karma makes you ask. Karma makes you confused. And so
JoJo Siwa called her Karma era the biggest transformation in music history. Then the internet started digging and found out she didn't write the song. Or the next one. Okay, so here's the deal, you guys. We need to talk about JoJo Siwa because the verdict is kind of already in and the internet has made up its mind. But I want to be really clear about something before we go 1 second further, because it actually matters. This is not a video about who she dates or how she identifies or anything about her personal life that is genuinely nobody's business. A lot of the hate she has gotten is just ugly, bad faith stuff, and we are not doing that here. The real case, the one that actually comes with receipts, is way simpler, and honestly, way more interesting. It's a story about manufactured authenticity, about a rebrand that got sold to you as this deeply personal transformation and turned out to be, well, a shopping cart. So let's connect the dots, one receipt at a time, and you can decide for yourself whether she got caught. It starts in April 2024. JoJo shows up at the iHeartRadio Music Awards in black leather and full Kiss-style demon makeup, and she drops Karma, the lead single, the centerpiece, the entire Bad Girl era packed into one song. And she is telling everyone this is her evolution, her brand new chapter. There is just one little problem. Karma was written back in 2011 by a production trio called Rock Mafia. It was originally shopped to Miley Cyrus, who, fun detail, JoJo has cited over and over as her ultimate career blueprint. Miley passed on it. So the song went to a singer named Brit Smith, who recorded it in 2012, shot an entire music video with Timbaland, and then watched her label shelve the whole thing. And it sat in a vault for 12 years, until JoJo's label bought it. So when TMZ stopped her on the street and asked about it, JoJo's defense was, and I am quoting her here, "I did not steal anything. There's no such thing as stealing. I also don't know who Brit Smith is." And look, legally, she's right. Buying an unreleased demo is completely normal in the music industry. Labels do it all day long. But here is why it landed so badly. You cannot sell a song to people as your personal diary entry and then explain that you actually got it from your lawyers. And remember how this got marketed. This was not framed as, hey, I found a cool song. This was framed as a major, deeply personal project built to fit her brand new identity. The leather, the choreography, the dark makeup, every piece of it was engineered to scream, this is the real me now. So the second the public learned the centerpiece was a 12-year-old demo Miley turned down, the whole "this is my soul" framing just collapsed. It is not the song that broke people's trust. It is the gap between the marketing and the receipt. And then karma, real, literal karma, happened. After all the drama went viral, Brit Smith released her original 2012 version independently. And the internet, out of pure spite, decided to send it up the iTunes chart. Brit's version peaked at number 8. JoJo's peaked at number 89. The woman whose name JoJo said she didn't even know just outcharted her by 81 spots. And here's the part that makes it worse somehow. Brit did not gloat. She got on TikTok and said, she was totally in the right to record her version, and I hate to see that anybody would think that I'm a part of any kind of bullying. Which is honestly even more devastating, right? The person you wronged being the bigger person about it. That's a whole different level of caught. Now, if this were a one-time thing, fine. Catalog shopping happens, nobody would care. But then in June 2024, JoJo announces her Guilty Pleasure EP with a track called Choose Fighter. And fans recognized it instantly because an independent artist named Emmeline had written and virally teased that exact same song 2 years earlier. Emmeline did not take it quietly. She posted, "I did not sign off on it coming out with JoJo," and announced she was going to pull a Taylor Swift and re-record her own version to go head-to-head with it. So now it is not an incident, it is a pattern. 2 signature songs of the most personal era of her life, and both of them originally belonged to somebody else. Receipt 3 is about the claims, because alongside the borrowed songs, JoJo kept making these enormous statements about her own importance. The biggest one, in a Billboard interview, she said she wanted to start a brand new genre of music and described it like this: "It's like K-pop, right? But it's gay pop." And the backlash was instant, because openly queer artists have been making pop music for decades. Elton John, George Michael, Tegan and Sara, Chappelle Roan. Tegan and Sarah actually responded with a single, completely silent, deeply judgmental TikTok, which is its own kind of art form. One commenter summed it up: Tegan and Sarah have been putting out lesbian pop music longer than JoJo Siwa has been alive, and yet she thinks she's inventing the gay pop genre. JoJo did walk it back, sort of, saying she only meant she wanted it recognized as an official iTunes category. But the damage was done. And then there is the framing of the whole rebrand as the biggest transformation in music history, which, I mean, Miley's Bangers era exists, Sabrina Carpenter exists, Dove Cameron exists, and when JoJo got mocked for the demon makeup, Kiss frontman Gene Simmons actually defended her. But even his defense kind of gave the game away. He said, "JoJo is extraordinary, and she looks cool. Of course she looks like me, but that's another story, buddy. That's another story is the entire story." Receipt 4 is about the moments the performance just cracked open. For her 21st birthday, JoJo went to Disney World, Epcot specifically, and did the Drinking Around the World challenge, filming herself stumbling and slurring for the cameras. And instead of reading as genuine, messy, young adult rebellion, it read as a field trip, a focus-grouped little rebellion, staged at the single most sanitized place on Earth, with the cameras conveniently rolling to catch every spontaneous moment. And then, when Saturday Night Live parodied her, a cast member in full cosplay, sneering the line, "I'm the first gay girl in the world," JoJo reposted it and called it iconic. Which, honestly, is smart. If they are laughing at you, they are still talking about you. But it also quietly told everybody watching that this was never really about the music being good. It was about the numbers. Negative attention spends exactly the same as positive attention online, and she clearly knew it. And then there is the receipt that nobody really wants to make jokes about. Because here is where I have to genuinely slow down, since we are now talking about allegations, not proven facts. In early 2024, right as the Karma era was kicking off, Rolling Stone published an investigation by journalist Cheyenne Roundtree about XOMG Pop, the kids' pop group JoJo and her mother put together. Former members and their families alleged grueling schedules, very little pay, and verbal mistreatment of children. And I want to be really clear about this. JoJo and her team categorically denied all of it, calling the claims provably false. Nothing here has been established in any court. And in a story like this, the only true victims would ever be the kids themselves. So the scrutiny belongs on the adults, never on them. But the reason it connects to our story is the timing. A lot of people online noticed that the loud, chaotic, meme-generating bad girl rebrand landed at the exact same moment as this far more serious story. And they openly wondered whether all the cringe was, conveniently, a really effective smokescreen. And to be totally fair, that is a theory, not a fact. But you can see why people started connecting those particular dots. Then came 2025, and the era changed all over again. JoJo went on Celebrity Big Brother UK, met a reality star named Chris Hughes, ended her previous relationship, and started dating him. Now, and I really mean this, who she dates and how she identifies is her business, full stop. The biphobic pile-on that followed her was genuinely gross, and a lot of people rightly called it out. That is not our lane, and we are not touching it. But here is the part that does fit our pattern, the aesthetic. Almost overnight, she dropped a cover of Bette Davis Eyes, wearing a full 1950s housewife look, and the internet immediately christened it her Tradwife era. So in about 18 months, we went from rainbow child star to leather bad girl to soft focus housewife. 3 completely different people. And when rumors started that the new relationship was a lavender PR setup, both she and Chris denied it hard. And the point is not whether that rumor is true. It almost certainly is not our business either way. The point is that by this stage, the audience had been trained to look at every single JoJo era as a costume change ordered from upstairs. That is what manufactured authenticity actually costs you in the end. Eventually, nobody believes that any version of you is the real one. And the comment sections? Brutal, but also kind of fascinating because they were not actually one-sided. You had people going straight for the throat. One person wrote, "One thing that's clear is that JoJo thinks having the money to buy other people's songs will make her successful. You are still a traitor." You had the brutal but fair music takes like, "She's not particularly talented, I'm not even saying that as a hater. But what does she bring?" But here is the honest part, the thing I actually respect. Not everyone was buying the pylon. One person wrote, "I honestly think people are pretending to like it because they are having a lot of fun bullying JoJo." Another straight up said, "The extent that people are willing to go to bully her is pretty awful." And then my personal favorite, the one that I think is just objectively true. "But the JoJo version makes me laugh till I cry." Because that is the whole paradox, right there. Half the people dunking on her were streaming it on absolute repeat. And honestly, I have been sitting here thinking about why this one bugs people so much. And I don't think it is actually about JoJo at all. I think every single one of us has watched someone, a brand, an influencer, maybe even somebody we know in real life, try to sell us this raw, authentic, vulnerable version of themselves that you could just tell was assembled in a conference room. And it gets under your skin in a very specific way, because it is not the reinvention that bothers us. People are allowed to change. Miley changed. Sabrina changed. The difference is they brought something of their own to the table. A voice, a perspective, a thing that was actually theirs. The problem was never that JoJo bought some songs. Tons of artists do that. The problem is she handed you somebody else's diary, told you it was hers, and then looked genuinely surprised when you noticed the handwriting didn't match. Authenticity is the one single thing you cannot purchase. You either bring it or you don't. And maybe that is the actual lesson buried under all of this. We do this with people all the time. We hand them a story we want to be true, then feel betrayed when the real one shows up underneath. The thing is, the most magnetic version of anybody is almost never the most polished one. It is the one with the fingerprint still on it. JoJo had a real story available to her this whole time. A kid who grew up on camera, figuring out who she is with the entire world watching. That story did not need a single borrowed song. It was already hers. So, caught faking the entire era? I am going to let you be the judge on that one. The songs weren't hers. The invented genre already existed. The biggest transformation in history had about a dozen blueprints sitting right there. But the bullying went way too far too. And I think that is worth saying out loud just as much as anything else. So I genuinely want to hear from you. Is this a manufactured rebrand that finally got exposed? Or just a young entertainer figuring it out in public while the whole internet refuses to let her? Tell me which receipt got you in the comments. And if you made it all the way to the end of this one, you already know what to do. I'll see you in the next one.